To be fully seen by somebody, then, and be loved anyhow, this is a human offering that can border on miraculous. Elizabeth Gilbert's words hit different for INFPs. Being fully seen is our deepest desire and biggest fear in relationships. It's like when your heart races before sharing something personal. That's us, all the time. But what if this paradox is actually one of our core strengths, one of our superpowers in relationships? In this video, we'll explore and talk about why INFPs struggle with vulnerability, how it impacts our love life, both on ourselves and other people, our partners, and how to use it to create those deep, authentic connections that we've always craved. What's up, legend? Sherman here from Geek Psychology. So let's first talk about limerence. Yes, the big one, the INFP's emotional roller coaster, one of the core components to it. Have you ever felt like so head over heels, so absorbed into someone else that you couldn't think about anything else? Well, that is limerence, an intense, obsessive attraction to someone. As INFPs, we can get hit hard by this. Our dominant function, introverted feeling, FI, what I call the soul, goes into hyperdrive, and we start creating this idealized image of our crush. It's awesome, it's beautiful, but it's also kind of dangerous. Like, we're seeing them in the most rose-tinted glasses ever invented way. So here's the wild part. Limerence can last anywhere from 6 months to 3 years. There are actual scientific backings for why we feel so crazy in love. Dopamine and norepinephrine flood our brains, giving us these like euphoric highs that can be seriously addictive. It's our own personal love drug, making us think about our crush nonstop. Those love chemicals just keep on flowing. I've been through it so many times. I was thinking of in high school, there were many stalker-ish moments that I had. I was a stalker, definitely, like just completely obsessed and unable to think about anyone or anything else. And even when I was living in Korea in 2007, my soon-to-be girlfriend, her name just like kind of kept coming out in conversations where it shouldn't have been there. Like, we were talking about something completely different. And I remember one time it came out and my ESTJ friend looked at me like, what? But here's where it gets tricky for us INFPs. Our idealism, combined with limerence, can set us up for some real major disappointment. We create this perfect image of our crush, right? But then reality hits and it's like, wait, they're actually human. And we've put them up on this godlike pedestal. It can be a pretty rough awakening for us, as well as for them too. So understanding limerence can be extremely important and really helpful just all around for understanding how we work and how we do relationships. When we recognize that we're in the midst of limerence and maybe too idealistic thinking, it helps us have some awareness of it so that we can separate those intense feelings from genuine, lasting love, where it's not just an obsession. So what can we do when we find ourselves caught up in limerence? Well, first, as always, try practicing self-awareness. Are you seeing the person realistically, or are they up on that pedestal? It's also really important to find a healthy way of expressing all those intense emotions. Now, it's good to talk to the other person, usually, especially if you're having strong feelings about them. But if you can't do that, journaling or talking to a trusted friend or even ChatGPT can give you some realistic reality checks. And remember that it's okay to feel deeply. That's what makes us INFPs special and who we are. But there are some things that we need to do when it goes to an extreme. All right, next, what if I told you that your dreamy nature, that very thing that sometimes gets you into trouble, might actually be your secret weapon in relationships? I know it might sound crazy, but hear me out. Us INFPs have this reputation for being hopeless romantics, always chasing that perfect fairy tale love where we end up in a castle with pristine walls, or in a cabin in the woods with the other person for the rest of our lives, for eternity. And sometimes it feels like the world is telling us to grow up. Actually, most of the time. And to face reality, and to get a 9-to-5 job and be somber and repress those emotions. But here's the thing, having high standards in relationships is actually pretty smart. You know, when we picture our ideal relationship, we're setting clear goals, we're getting clear on what we want, what kind of person we want, and our expectations. It might seem robotic or fake to say, this is the kind of person that I want in my life, and I'm going to clearly define them. But we're going to do that anyway. We're going to create these expectations for the other person. So we might as well get clear on it and lean into that. Our idealism helps us spot red flags early on, avoid setting goals for relationships that are unrealistic or less than we deserve as well. And studies even show that couples who keep this positive, idealistic view of each other tend to be happier in the long run. If you go into neurolinguistic programming and mental space, when you start meeting somebody, you start dating them, their representation within your mental space is likely here. It's a bit bigger than real life, it's a bit higher than normal, and it's probably very vivid, very clear, maybe even got some sparkles or sounds to it. The longer you date, if you do not intentionally look for the positive things, the negative aspects come in. And that image of the other person within your social panorama probably moves. Comes over here, maybe it's over here. Maybe it was here, like near your chest or embedded in you, a part of you, and it moves around. And if you know that, you can play with it. You can say, what is the vision that I want for this person? Where do I want them to be within my mental space? I don't know, if you've never done that before, then it seems a bit crazy, but that's how your brain works, so it's important to understand and use it properly. But if idealism is so great, then why do we still sometimes, oftentimes, struggle? Well, with great power comes great responsibility. You got to use it wisely. It's not about expecting perfect relationships and perfection and ignoring flaws. It's about seeing the potential that our partner has and how we can support them and what they can become if they are unburdened by flaws, by weaknesses, by struggles and negative thoughts. So as INFPs, we have this amazing ability to look past that surface level and to see the deeper stuff. We're looking for the real soul deep connection. And when we find someone who resonates with our ideals, then it's really special. And it doesn't come around very often. But here's the tricky part. We need to remember that true love isn't about finding the perfect person. It's about finding someone who is perfect for us. You know, flaws and all, being them to the best of their ability. Because we're doing the same thing. We're not perfect either. It's about compromise and understanding. Nobody's perfect, remember. Not even us. No matter how hard we try or how much we cover up our mistakes, nobody's perfect. So the cool thing is, though, that we can use our idealism better. When we use it right, it can lead to some amazing relationships, amazing self-development and growth for our partners as well. We believe in the power of love to transform people as INFPs, you know? And I'm a male, and I'm saying this too, okay? Sometimes it really does. Like, that commitment to another person, that investment of yourself and your energy and your heart, soul into another person can really make some amazing changes in how the other person sees themselves too, and who they are willing to become. As in, getting out of their own way and leveling up their life and not playing small, or just, being more open, getting rid of the stuff from the past. So next time that someone tells you to stop being so idealistic, just smile. Because you know that as an INFP, idealism isn't a weakness. It's a core strength. It's something that you're going to do anyway based off your personality type. So don't try to change it. Learn how to embrace it. And know that it helps you to create partnerships, to create better relationships with friendships too, and even at work with colleagues. You just need to learn how to wield it wisely. All right, let's talk about our tendencies as INFPs to avoid confrontation. Like, it's our worst nightmare, especially for Enneagram Type 9s. Our ability to create harmony and to mediate is amazing, but when it comes to dealing with conflict and confrontation, especially with anger involved, it can really hold us back. So think about it, like how many times have you just gone along with your partner's ideas, even though inside you're feeling like you want to talk about it or you want to do something else completely different? It's like we're stuck between wanting peace and actually getting what we need. So I've been there many, many times, and I've coached many INFPs through it as well. And it causes a lot of trouble in relationships. But you gotta know that your partner cannot read your mind. They might think everything is great, and inside, as an INFP, we haven't communicated what's going on, and we're like drowning in emotions and feelings and desires that we haven't expressed. It's like we're playing emotional hide and seek, and nobody is having fun. And by trying to avoid conflict, we're actually creating more of it in the long run. It's like we're so focused on keeping things calm and not rocking the boat that we don't realize that the relationship ship is slowly sinking. But it's not just about the relationship. It's all of those bottled up emotions can cause some real serious health issues too. They're like little stress bombs inside of us. And research shows that emotional suppression can lead to many health problems. So by trying to keep the peace, we're actually hurting ourselves and the relationship and our partners in the long term. But what if I told you that healthy confrontation can actually bring you closer to your partner? My old ESTJ roommate and his ENFJ now wife used to fight all the time, and there was always bickering, and my parents got divorced when I was 10, so I have like some trauma around that, you know, little t trauma. And any conflict that they had made me want to just leave the apartment. They were just like, this is how we get closer to each other. This is how we understand each other. And I'm not saying that you should intentionally fight, but it is another approach that other personality types use or deal with. And when we engage in constructive conflict, there we go, then we're giving our partners a chance to really understand our values and what's important to us, and we get to kind of open up this secret door to our inner world that I guess they can come in or we can let stuff out. I'm not really sure how that metaphor goes. Now, remember, I'm not saying that you should become an ENTP debate champion overnight or something like that, but start small. Write down what you want, get clear on it, define it, pinpoint some recent experiences of it before a discussion, and then you can talk to your partner about that. And it gives you support, and you actually get to think about it before you bring it up, which is a really important thing. And I know you might think it might feel like petty to track past slights and experiences that you didn't like, but it can be really helpful. And remember that approaching and addressing issues early on is like, I don't know, like maintenance for your car or getting a dentist checkup or something like that, right? You're preventing bigger problems from happening later down the road. All right, let's talk about that tricky balance when we INFPs face the need for alone time, but also the need for keeping the relationship healthy and alive and respecting our partner. It's like we're walking this tightrope between our need to recharge, which INFPs need a lot of alone time to recharge. Not all of us need the same amount, but I often think that I could be by myself for months on end and be happy and flourish because of it. But having a partner means that there's other needs and necessities, as well as, I have kids and real life stuff, right? But anyway, there's this need for recharge and a need for connection. And how do we manage this without leaving our loved ones feeling hurt or disrespected or just lost? So here's the thing, our introverted feeling, FI, is like this delicate instrument that needs regular tuning. Okay, so introverted feeling is about defining our values, understanding what is important to us, getting the scale of like to dislike. How much do we like a thing? How much do we dislike it? How important is it to us? And what does that mean to our identity and us as a person? And we're talking to all these different parts of ourselves to see if it's a good choice, if it's a good idea, because it's a judging function. Its intention is to make a judgment, to make a decision. And how it does that is through that evaluation process. And you can think of it like tuning that guitar, tuning an instrument. And sometimes it means we need to step away from the world and process it and find this inner harmony, this alignment within ourselves. But when we do this without explanation or suddenly, it can really throw our partners for a loop and cause a lot of struggle and just frustration. I hear about it all the time in comments on my channel about people reaching out to me by email like, why did my partner do this? I thought things were going well and then they just disappeared. I mean, think about it. How many times have you had some conflict or misunderstanding that could have been avoided with a brief explanation of, hey, I need some time for myself right now. I need to go explore my inner landscape. Here be dragons, but don't worry, I'll be back soon. I just need to finish this, introspection quest. Just a little explanation like that, maybe in different words, depending on who you are and how you do words and metaphors, would be helpful. So what can we do? Well, here's a little trick that I learned, something that's helped me a lot, is before you need that time, before you go into hermit mode, try saying something. Hey, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, or I got to process some things, I need to think about some stuff, and I need some alone time to recharge. Or you schedule it, and just make sure that tell them, it's not you, it's just something that I need. It's my personality type. I still love you. And I'll be back, in an hour or 2 hours or a day or two or, whatever your scale for this thing is. It's simple, it's honest, and it gives your partner a clear picture of what is going on. Now, if you are feeling like you don't want to go back to that relationship, then that's a different story and something else that you need to have a conversation with them about, not just ghosting forever, But by doing this, you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your partner and the relationship as the emergent of that. You need to put on your own oxygen mask first in order to help somebody else, right? So make sure you take that time to recharge and give your partner the gift of understanding by explaining it to them too. It's just part of who you are. So here we are at the end of our INFP love journey, the love boat. We've explored idealism, limerence, emotional depth, and the need for solitude that make INFPs unique in relationships. Oftentimes it's a struggle. But when you have awareness of it and you have language for it, that means you can communicate it in a way that's going to help you and improve your interactions going forward. And remember that they're not flaws. It's just part of your personality type, and it's going to come about anyway. So once you understand it, you might as well, lean into it and communicate that with your partner, not just keep it to yourself. And that will help your partner understand you better, which is a good feeling. Being understood, being validated for who you are and why you do the things that you do is really nice. And you're not going to get to that point unless you communicate it with your partner. And if you want more help from me, you can get the free INFP personality type tutorial. Go to inowfeelpositive.com. It's free, it's a free course. So enjoy that, get to understand yourself better. Or you can reach out to me directly through web chat, geekpsychology.com, or email sherman@geekpsychology.com, or you can join the Evolve community and work with a group of us type geeks, evolve.geekpsychology.com, with regular accountability and workshops and access to all 6 of my courses to help you live the life that you want to live by embracing your personality type, and other cool mind magic tricks and stuff like that. Good stuff to help you out that I've learned through my journey of 10 plus years doing this type of stuff. Good luck, have fun. Peace.